welcome back to the Beach Bum Bookworm. I am Tiffany. I'm so glad y'all could find me today. My channel is mostly about cozy mysteries, but I will be throwing in some other fun videos from time to time. And today I'm excited to say this, y'all. 2021. That's right, guys. We are looking at the January 2021 cozy mystery releases. We have made it. We are only a few days away from a brand new year, out with the old and in with the new. And along with the new are some great new books coming out in January, including a couple new series, which I'm super excited about. Let me know in the comments below, what are you excited about? On your way down to comment, make sure you stop, hit the subscription, hit the notification bell, because that's going to tell you when I put out new videos each and every single week. All right, let's get to it. Let's look at them. The January 2021 cozy mystery releases in 3, 2, 1, go. The first series that I want to talk about is The Secret Book and Stone Society by Ellery Adams, who I absolutely love. Book 4 is coming out. It's called Ink and Shadows. It's right here. I've not actually read any of the books in this series, but boy, do I love her other series. And I have no other reason that I haven't read these except that my TBR is just unmanageable. That's it, because this series sounds fabulous. So the main character is Nora. She is the owner of Miracle Books. Nora can pick books for people who are in pain based upon what will make them feel better, which is an incredible premise. This series takes place in Miracle Springs, North Carolina. This book says Nora Pennington is known for her window displays, and as Halloween approaches, she decides to showcase fictional heroines like Roald Dahl's Matilda and Madeline Miller's Circe. A family values group disapproves of the magical themes, though, and wastes no time launching a modern-day witch hunt. Suddenly, former friends and customers are targeting not only Nora and Miracle Books, but a new shopkeeper, Celeste, who's been selling CBD oil products. Nora and her friends in the Secret Book and Stone Society are doing their best to put an end to the strife, but then someone puts an end to a life. Though the death is declared an accident, the ruling can't explain the old book page covered with strange symbols and disturbing drawings left under Nora's doormat, a postcard from an anonymous stalker, or multiple cases of vandalism. Woo, there's a lot going on. The only hope is that Nora can be a heroine herself and lead the Secret Book and Stone Society in a successful investigation. That's it. I'm just going to break down in order book 1 because that sounds great. The next one is book number 6 in the Mystery Bookshop series. This is going to be called A Tourist Guide to Murder. It'll be right here. The author is V.M. Burns. The main character is Samantha Washington. She is a bookstore owner and cozy mystery author. This series takes place in Michigan, and oh my gosh, this is so good on my TBR. It's another series that I have not read any of, and it sounds fabulous. So in this book, it says, Sam joins Nana Jo and her Shady Acres retirement village friends. Oh, I've told you guys about my love for the elderly. Oh boy, I'm getting excited. Irma, Dorothy, and Ruby May on a week-long trip to London, England to experience the Peabody Mystery Lovers Tour. The chance to see the sights and walk the streets that inspired Agatha Christie and Arthur Conan Doyle is a dream come true for Sam. Oh, it sounds fabulous, and a perfect way to celebrate her new publishing contract as a mystery author. But between visits to Jack the Ripper's Whitechapel district and 221B Baker Street, Major Horace Peabody is found dead, supposedly of natural causes. Despite his employer's unfortunate demise, the tour guide insists on keeping calm and carrying on, until another tourist on the trip also dies with mysterious circumstances. Now it's up to Sam and the Shady Acres ladies to mix and mingle among their fellow mystery lovers, find a motive, and turn up a murder. The next one is one of those brand new ones that I was telling you about. So it's going to be called the Kitchen Witch series. Book 1 is One Poison Pie. It's by Lynn Cahoon, who I love. She writes the Tourist Trap series. She also writes the Farm to Fork series, which we're going to talk about next because she has a book releasing in January of that. I have not checked that one out, but I really enjoy her Tourist Trap series. So this one, the main character is Mia Malone. She is a cook and witch in Magic Springs, Idaho. What's a witch to do when her almost fiance leaves her suddenly single and unemployed? For Mia Malone, the answer's simple. Move to her grandmother's quirky Idaho hometown where magic is an open secret and witches and warlocks are mostly welcome. With a new gourmet dinner delivery business and a touch of magic in her recipes, Mia's hopes are high. even when her ex's little sister Christina arrives looking for a place to stay. But her first catering job takes a distasteful turn when her client's body is found stabbed and stuffed under the head table. Oh, that's a bad turn. Mia is shocked to learn that she's a suspect, and even more so when she realizes she's next on the killer's list. Ooh, I'm going to have to check out that series. So the next one is the Farm to Fork series I was telling you about, also by Lynn Cahoon. It's book number 5, Killer Comfort Food. It'll be right here. The main character in this one is Angie Turner. She is the owner of the Farm to Table County Seat restaurant in Idaho. A soybean processing plant is trying to buy up the land around the small farm Angie's beloved Nona left her. If Angie doesn't sell, she'll be surrounded by the plant and the congestion that comes with it. On the other hand, it's Nona's farmhouse. What is Angie supposed to do without it? Move into a condo in town with Precious, Mabel, and Dom? Respectively, a goat, chicken, and dog? Worse, a troubling rumor is circulating around the lawyer who's heading up the development. His socialite wife seems to be missing. When Barb, local owner of the bar, asks Angie to look into the woman's disappearance, she's hesitant until Barb reveals her surprising connection. Now, it's up to Angie to find the woman, uncover a shady plot, and hang onto her home before she becomes a criminal's final course. Whew, I'm going to have to look into that one too, because I really do enjoy the Tourist Trap series, and I haven't read a single one in the Farm to Fork. So the next one is one that I do read the series in, and I do enjoy. I'm not completely caught up, but it is the Cackleberry Club series. Book number 9 is coming out. It's called Egg Shooters. Is right here. The series is by Laura Childs. Suzanne Dietz, co-owner of the Cackleberry Club Cafe, is visiting her fiance, Dr. Sam Hazlitt. When a masked gunman bursts into the emergency room, he shoots 2 people and would probably have done more damage had Sam not brained him with a thermos full of chili. Still, the gunman manages to escape. Oh my gosh, that one sounds crazy. I'm going to have to get caught up in this series just so I can get that. The next one is another brand new series that I'm super excited about because I love this author. It is Nancy Coco, who writes the Fudge Shop series. And if you haven't looked at that one, you need to, because it is great. This one is the Oregon Honeycomb Mystery series. Book number 1 is going to be called Death Becomes Her. That's right here. The main character is Wren Johnson. She is the owner of Let It Be Honey Boutique in Ocean View, Oregon. I love all the names in this. Welcome to a specialty shop in the Oregon tourist town of Ocean View, where it's all things honey, from taffy to body scrub. But murder can make things sticky. Sure can. With her Let It Be Honey Boutique buzzing along nicely, life is as sweet as nectar for Wren Johnson until she takes a morning walk along the Pacific beach with her Havana brown cat Everett and stumbles upon the body of Agnes Snow, the cranky queen of the local craft fairs, stiff as driftwood. More unfortunate, clutched in the victim's hand is a label from Wren's homemade beeswax and honey lip balm. That is unfortunate, which makes Officer Jim Hampton focus his dreamy blue Paul Newman eyes on Wren as suspect number 1. With fabulous feline support from Everett, Wren must comb the town for clues and clear her name before someone else gets stung. Woo, that sounds, I love when new series start. All right, so the next one is the 6th book in the Sherlock Holmes bookshop series. It's called A Curious Incident. It'll be right here. It is by author Vicki Delaney. Again, another series I have not checked out, but Vicki Delaney writes one of my all-time favorites, which is the Year-Round Christmas series. If you have not checked that one out, it is the perfect time of year to do it. So you need to, because it is oh my gosh, it's amazing. The main character in this one is Gemma Doyle. She is a transplant English woman. She manages her great uncle Arthur's Sherlock Holmes bookshop, and Jane, who is the manager of Mrs. Hudson's tea room in a quaint town called West London on Cape Cod. I am not a consulting detective, Gemma Doyle reluctantly tells 10-year-old Lauren Tierney when the little girl comes to the Sherlock Holmes bookshop and emporium to beg Gemma to find her missing cat, Snowball. Gemma might not be able to follow the clues to find the cat, but her dog Violet follows her nose to locate the missing kitten in a neighbor's garden shed. Gemma and Violet proudly return Snowball to her grateful owner, and Gemma basks in the praise for a job well done. But a few days later, Lauren is back once again with $10 in her hand, wanting to hire a consulting detective, and this time for a far bigger job. Her mother has been accused of murdering her garden club rival. Sheila Tierney's garden, which everyone said was the one to beat for the West Garden Club trophy, had been vandalized the night before the club's early summer tour. Sheila confronted her former friend and garden partner, Anna Wentworth, in a towering rage, and the women nearly came to blows. Later that night, after having won the trophy for Best Garden, Anna is found murdered, and Sheila Tierney is the police prime suspect. Whew! That one sounds really good. There's so many good books coming out. The next one is book number 2 in the Snug Harbor Mystery Series. It's going to be called Inked Out right here. It is by Karen McInerney. I hope I'm saying her name right. I have not read the first book in this one, but I do love her Dewberry Farm series. So the main character in this one is Max Sayers. She is a recent divorcee, and she is the owner of Seaside Cottage Books in Snug Harbor, Maine. When bookseller Max Sayers agrees to host Snug Harbor, Maine's new mystery writers group, she envisions filling Seaside Cottage Books with literary conversation, warm fresh-baked cookies, and a community to support her assistant Bethany's mystery writing dream. But the group has barely begun its inaugural meeting when local author Martha Crabtree accuses young Bethany of plagiarizing her novel. The next morning, Martha turns up a half-mile from the bookstore, a letter opener plunged into her bony chest and her face covered in black ink. When the police learned that an almost identical murder happened just last week in Bethany's unfinished murder mystery, Max's beloved assistant rockets to the top of the suspect list. It does sound bad. As Max struggles to clear Bethany's name, she discovers that some old roots in Snug Harbor run deeper and are more twisted than she ever could have dreamed possible. She soon uncovers a network of deceit that sprouted from a bad seed planted in the bookstore itself almost a century earlier. But someone doesn't like her digging. A rash of threatening anonymous phone calls and a heavy inkwell hurled through the shop window, barely missing Max's head, sends a clear and deadly message: back off or else. That's a pretty clear message. Can Max clear her assistant's name in time? Or will she and Seaside Cottage Books be the killer's next victim? So, wow, that sounds, whew. All right, so the next book is the 27th book in the Lucy Stone mystery series by Leslie MEIER. It's called Irish Parade Murder. It'll be right here. I actually read the first one in this series a few years ago, and this is just a personal preference. It wasn't for me, but I'll tell you, any series that has gone for 27 books, the author's doing something right and has many, many, many fans. So make sure you check it out. This one says, Lucy Stone's late winter blues usually vanish by the time Tinker's Cove goes green for its annual St. Patrick's Day celebration. There's just one wee problem that not even the luck of the Irish can fix: murder. After returning from her father-in-law's funeral in Florida, Lucy can almost hear the death of her part-time reporter job the instant she meets new hire Rob Callahan. He's young, ambitious, and positioning himself to become the penny saver's next star reporter. Adding insult to injury, Lucy only gets assigned the local St. Patrick's Day parade once Rob passes on the story. Before beer flows and bagpipes sound, Rob becomes suspected of destroying more than other people's careers. It's a shock when Rob is suddenly charged with sending a corrections officer from town to a fiery death. Contrary to the evidence, Lucy seriously doubts her office rivals committed murder, and she's willing to follow that nagging hunch into the darkest corners of the community, even if it means shedding light on the truth. As an unnerving mystery unfolds, a strange woman reveals news that could change everything for Lucy and her family. Troubles in her personal and professional life are colliding, and Lucy comes to realize that she'll soon discover a four-leaf clover, then confront a killer with the gift of gab and live to tell about it. Woo! All right. So the next one is book number 4 in the Abby McCree mystery series. It's called Death by Intermission. It'll be right here. The author is Alexis Morgan. I believe I read the first one in this series. Actually, I know I have. I really enjoyed it. And sometimes I just get sidetracked because there's no other reason that I didn't read book 2 except that I have so many books on my DVR. So the main character is Abby McCree. She's a recent divorcee inheriting a rundown estate. So in this book, it says, ushered once again into another committee by the mayor of Snowberry Creek, Washington, Abby is tasked with keeping the box office receipts on the town's movie night in the park. Cut to the director's chair from where she's suddenly organizing the summer's last feature. From the opening scene through the final credits, Abby feels like she's earned nominations for Best Volunteer, Best Movie Date with her tenant Trip Blackston, and Best Daughter for ignoring her mother Phoebe's own movie date with Owen Quinn. Unfortunately, Abby and the others are treated to a post-credits scene, the body of a local insurance agent, Mitchell Anders. This discovery is followed by a plot twist revealing that the murder weapon comes from Owen's food truck. With her mother's boyfriend suspected of murder, Abby starts her own investigation determined to shine a spotlight on the real killer. So the next one is, I don't know how I missed even hearing about this series. It is, because it sounds really intriguing, it is the Maternal Instinct series. Book number 8 is coming out. So again, how I missed all those others, I have no idea. I'm going to rectify that right away. It sounds really interesting. So the author is Diana Orgain. The book is called Rockapie Murder. It'll be right here. The main character is Kate Connolly. She is a new mom and a private investigator in California. There's murder on the dance floor, literally. All Kate was supposed to do at the swing dance lesson was master the triple step, which seemed like a breeze. But now, a dead body has Lindy hopped its way off the studio roof, clutching a cryptic note with a dire warning. If the studio goes ahead with the upcoming 1950s themed benefit dance, one of the attendees on the dance floor will die. Kate's got a case to solve, and the clock is ticking. But her favorite babysitter is MIA. Can she solve the case before the killer strikes again? I have not heard of that series. I'm going to totally have to look into that. All right, so the next one is the 8th book in the Second Chance Cat Mystery series by Sophie Ryan. It's called Undercover Kitty. Cover is right here. The main character is Sarah Grayson. She is the owner of Second Chance and Secondhand Shop, and her cat Elvis. I have not read any of these, but this is a wildly popular series and I need to check it out. Sarah and Elvis can always be found at a charming secondhand shop in the village of North Harbor, Maine. Despite the small town setting, the daring duo often find themselves wrapped up in a murder, but luckily they have help. A quirky group of senior citizens, now you're talking, runs an amateur detective agency called Charlotte's Angels out of the store. The Angels are hired to look into who is sabotaging cat shows in the state, and they decide the best way to do that is send Elvis the cat undercover as a contestant. But then one of the cat show volunteers is murdered just before the latest competition, and Sarah and the Angels have to catch a killer in 2 shakes of a cat's tail. Oh my gosh, that sounds good. All right, so the next one is the final brand new series that is coming out in January. It is going to be called The Broken Spine. The series is the Beloved Book Room Mystery Series by Dorothy St. James. Here's the cover to that book. The main character is Trudell Beckett. She's a librarian. Trudell Beckett, book-loving librarian, finds herself in a bind when the library she works for is turned into a state-of-art bookless library. In a rare move of rebellion, Trudell rescues hundreds of her beloved books slated for the recycle center. Whew, good. All right, she sets up a secret book room in the library's basement, and it opens it up to anyone who shares her love of the printed book. Oh my gosh, I love this character already. When the town councilman, who is the vocal proponent of the library's transformation into a futuristic technological center, is crushed under an overturned shelf of DVDs, Trudell becomes the police's prime suspect for his murder. All right, guys, that's the last book. So I'm so glad you made it to the end. Thank you for joining me. And until next time, may all your future reads be 5 stars. Bye, everyone.